just know that it's private property and we cannot shop here.
I mean, are you
but we're just going to do it anyway. So some of our friends are outside shopping. They all just recently, you know, these paid protester days are very, very lucrative. So everyone's inside buying
I'm just going to love the legals for now.
But yeah, mall security came out and declared that it's private property and that we can't protest.
Why are we going in a private store instead of just the big mall like we normally do?
There's actually not much space in Plaza Frontenac that isn't taken up by a store.
So, plus, you know, you can't distinguish. These are all shoppers. Some of them are here, some of them are not here. This guy's
This is private property.
Right.
They're going shopping.
I think you should know
Or are they
it's
with
private.
I think they're protesters.
I'm just saying.
Honestly.
So this guy's off with their work. But yeah, all the friends are going to go shopping. Hi, guys. They let us know that it's private property and we may not come shop or protest.
Oh, sure.
So, alright guys.
What the hell? I just want to walk around the mall. I don't know what you.
Frontenac.
That's fine.
It's the la-di-do rich people.
So we're here in West County, St. Louis, Frontenac Mall.
Deborah, what is it we're looking for? Deborah.
Just hats. Ray, we're looking for hats.
Oh, we're looking for hats.
We're shopping, all of us.
They should be glad that we're.
I don't blame you.
You be honest.
Yeah, right.
I'll catch up with you, Bella. Yeah, no, let's go together, Leah.
So again, we're here but outside of St. Louis limits. There's mall security and Frontenac police all over the mall. And they're on the radio right now saying protesters are coming to the mall right now. These two cops to the left of me here, I'm going to show you in a sec, came outside of the entrance where some people were gathering and just said to them, there's this private property, there's no protesting in the mall allowed. Again, these police, who knows if they were shoppers or protesters, nobody was holding signs or anything. They didn't prevent people from coming in that said they were going to shop. People were looking in Neiman Marcus. Now we're in the mall proper. Kind of right now the cops are a little bit confused because people that came in the mall have broken up into various groups to try to divert the police. He's coming upstairs to get a better look. But this mall, Frontenac Mall, is right on the border of a few different ritzy towns here in the west suburbs of St. Louis, West County. So no, I haven't seen any county cops, but a lot of the local Frontenac and surrounding municipalities, as well as mall police and mall security. You see some legal observers on the scene as well. Again, protesters trying to get creative and keep the cops on their toes with what they're going to do now. And it was definitely a small turnout tonight, maybe about 30 plus people. And I know it's been reported that police technically aren't going to be supposedly policing protests unless protesters all. But that doesn't mean they have downsized the amount of police on duty to police the protests. There's a lot of unmarked cars about, and not just here, but we've noticed the past couple weeks. So the police are still out basically just watching and scouting everybody in unmarked cars from a distance. Not even a distance sometimes, right up on us. And I think cops are afraid with lawsuits pending through the ACLU and others with their mishandling of the protest so far. It's kind of an unofficial pullback that we've heard, but again, that's just a front. They're still paying the cops overtime. They're still have all the cops on standby. Now one of the officers coming up. I'm going to go down.
I get some footage of that door.
What's going on with the door?
Look what's at the door. They're gonna grab us on our way out. I don't know why we thought we were gonna disperse inside of our hospital area like this.
It was Peter Frampton.
Jimmy Buffett?
And I was like,
He
no.
thought it was Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, dude. Jimmy Buffett.
Okay, can I see your media credentials, Z? Can I see them? Show
Yes.
me it. You
No,
know what?
you don't
I have
deserve
pepper spray. Then I'm
You
gonna
don't deserve them.
I'm gonna kettle you. Like,
Sir, please take your hands off me, sir.
Is that the assault of witnesses?
No, this is actually love. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Anna, are they?
this is me kettling people. What?
Are they not?
This is concerning. This is concerning. This is a reason to protest. This is why we're here. That is why we're here. Right there. It is a felony. Z, leave. We need less than 7 people.
I'm just observing.
What are you using, 6S?
Yeah.
They give me this thing to video.
What kind? What is it? Just some off-brand or?
No, it's a Sony. But
Oh, no,
still,
I gotta-
But my cell phone's better than this.
It can't be. If you get the next step up, then they have the stabilization.
Yeah,
That's when it
yeah.
really is good.
I mean, I'm not a big video guy. so-
Right. They just throw it at you.
Yeah. Hey, go use this. All right. Sweet.
Seems like an easy gig for the night.
Yeah, I'll take it. A lot easier than other things I could be doing.
I could imagine, or can't.
Yes.
Well, although this isn't your typical mall protest that you see at like the Galleria Mall, this was a little harder, I think, for people to maneuver here at one time, and this is a much wealthier area, so police were pretty much right on call, waiting. I think as soon as people were meeting at Schnucks, I immediately saw police hours ago building up here at the mall across the street. So if there was a success tonight in the protest, you don't hear a bunch of chanting going on, but it still drew out a lot of police. Certain stores definitely at the doors not allowing customers in, so there was a lot of small actions that are going to lead to their overall strategy is what they're hoping.
No justice! No profits! 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 If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down!
So again, we're here in West County, St. Louis at the Frontenac Mall.
All right, guys, I'm going to give you an order to disperse right now. Trespassing is a private property. You need to leave because there's no protesting allowed on this property.
Excuse me, you're not doing it correctly. You're not doing it correctly. You're not doing it correctly. This is an unlawful assembly. You must disperse the area immediately or you will be subject to arrest.
Thank you very
Failure
much.
to disperse will result in your immediate arrest, including but not limited to chemical munitions or other form of crowd control. If you do not disperse the immediate area, you will be subject to arrest. You will be in violation of this city order. Thank you.
I'm giving you guys an order to disperse at this point. You're trespassing if you don't leave. You're trespassing if you don't leave. I'm giving you an order to disperse right now. Everybody go ahead and leave for the day, okay?
Entrance off to your right over there.
Legal protest. There's no such thing. This is America. Who invented protest?
I didn't mean to do that.
He has an African accent. You don't understand, brother? Hey, but brother, he got I'm the original thing.
Wait a minute, no, not everybody's back.
Right, they put you over to do that, man. Come on,
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Say no.
Right.
I see a lot of
So people definitely got split up within the mall here. Again, we're at the Frontenac Mall in West County, St. Louis, about 10 minutes outside St. Louis. More of a ritzy area here. Protesters first met up at the Schnucks across the street, and there was already 2 hours ahead of time police all over the mall area here. There's also a highway right next to the mall here, so I did see a few unmarked cars by the highway. I'm sure they had more troops ready to go to block any highway entrances. That's pretty much what they said all they're going to protest now. With all the mess-ups they've done in handling protesters and meeting people and macing journalists, protesters, citizens of the city, they're kind of been hands-off, and they've stated they're going to be more hands-off during regular protests, with the exception of when protesters try to take the highway. And as we see, when people try to protest at a mall, they still come out in full numbers. And this wasn't the Galleria. Had we been at the Galleria Mall in County, would have been there where there's a history. It probably would have ended a lot worse tonight. I will say the security and police inside were a little jovial, at least the ones that I was talking to. The two right here, the woman and the black gentleman, security officers or sheriffs, came out ahead of time to tell people that it's private property, there's no protesting here, just assuming all the people standing outside the doors were protesters, even though shoppers were coming in and out. So it was a pretty short action. It took a while for people to finally group together the way police were following and tracking people throughout the mall. But there was some chanting going on. Some stores were closed. A lot of police here, so there are, part of the economic standoff that protesters are trying to have over the long-term gain. It's going to take a lot of little actions like this. So, I know that this was, as far as the mall protest goes, this was a success. Doors were closed. A lot of police showing up on scene, draining resources. And we're just hoping, everybody followed the police's orders and got out of there. So there should be no reason for the police to retaliate tonight, like we've seen in county and other places where they would take people as they go to their cars. So hopefully we don't see that tonight. I don't think we will. Just a few things I want to note while you guys are still watching here, while we're figuring out. I'm sure this protest is going to be over here soon. We've got a couple important things on the horizon here. We've got the Proposition P vote coming up in St. Louis very shortly here. And it's basically whether or not to give the police a raise with a sales tax increase. Basically, on the backs of poor people, the sales tax increase, 0.5%, will incrementally affect the poor citizens the most. So the poor citizens, the ones who don't get the treatment by police they should, the ones who don't get their neighborhoods policed the way they want, are the ones who are going to pay that burden when St. Louis is already one of the per capita highest staffed police forces for a city its size in the country. So I think the citizens of St. Louis should tell the police what our bosses tell us when when our companies are performing well. Do more with less. Do more with less. Get your department in order, and then once your citizens are happy with how you police the city, then bring the raise to the table. Also, some news. It's been leaked, but be careful about this leak, that Brian Rossimano has been pulled off of detail policing the protests, and that him and other LMPD officers are barred from working with 0311 Tactical till further notice. This is from one alderperson, from an aide from the mayor, so we don't know what this ban means or how long it is. It's really just an unofficial thing. It's a PR stunt, guys. We're going to keep the pressure on 0311 because they need to be shut down, speaking of shutting it down. So don't let the city sweep this under the rug like they're trying to do, so that way they can get the Prop P passed and look like, say, here, we got rid of Rossimano. They haven't. Things will be back to normal before we know it. So please, we're going to continue to keep covering 0311 and Rossimano. We want you guys to keep giving us tips. We're getting a lot of tips flowing. We've got a lot of information to sort through. So although that may seem like a win, we don't really classify that as a win. We see that pulling police officers from working with 0311 as a PR stunt, basically, to try to make it look like they've done something. They're just sweeping it under the rug. There's nothing official with that. We don't have any official word from the mayor's office on that. People have tried to contact them and gotten nothing. So we're all hearing this from this junior alderwoman who just took, she's the same one who took over Lyda Crusen's ward. We're just hearing this from her. And when we pressed her on it, when people pressed her on it more, yeah, she basically just went in the mayor's office. Somebody's like, oh yeah, they're barred or banned, and it's words. There's no officiality to this. So we cannot forget about the shady dealings and the militaristic training that 0311 gets paid by the city and has been paid by the city to teach its officers and other officers. That needs to stay in the limelight. So we're going to keep focused on that as best we can. Right, so again, here from the Frontenac Mall in West County, St. Louis, protesters went in the mall for just a little bit, finally met up with each other, did a little chanting. It was kind of strategically hard the way the police were already here set up and waiting basically to arrest everyone at a moment's notice. So far, it doesn't look like police doing their...
1, 2, 3, fuck RebZ.
Hey! I'll go cover these cops then, man. That's fine. I get it.
It's all good, man.
I'm just wiping away my tears.
Oh, here, let me get some. Here, let me get something for that. Pulls out some saline.
That wasn't saline. That was apple cider vinegar.
That's actually why medics have stopped carrying apple cider vinegar, because people have fucked up and used the wrong one.
Oh.
No, that's why I don't care. Like, my iodine and my isopropyl and my Maalox my saving all in bottles, and they're very easy to distinguish by feel for a reason. Because when you get like sprayed by shit, you can't fucking see sometimes. And let me tell you, you get sprayed by shit, you grab the fucking apple cider vinegar bottle, you're gonna, be in for a really shitty afternoon.
Oh, hi. You're giving it, so you were giving me this. So they were like, this is the order to disperse. And I said, no, you're doing it wrong. I don't know. They were going to head back, but I'm just fuck.
Just making sure these people get back to their car without getting snatched. And I'm going to bring the broadcast down in just a moment here. Don't forget, I can't do this without your donations, especially with the war on journalism that's happening right now, from the people from the president to owners of the Gothamist and Chicagoist who just brought down all those sites. We've got, independent journalism is under attack here. Facebook adding new algorithms to try to wipe pages like ours out of existence. It's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of support from people like you to keep ad-free based grassroots journalism up and running, folks, in the near future. And I've got some big ideas to try to get some of these people involved, try to help grow this thing. Hopefully I can make it work, but it's going to take people power. So right now, like, for instance, I couldn't have gone to Shelbyville last week with one of my filming partners had it not been for the support you guys have shown me here and the donations you've given me. And so I wouldn't have been able to go get beat up by Nazis had it not been for your support. And yes, no matter what Shelbyville PD reports, there was violence on at least 4 different people, myself included, last week in Shelbyville. Police claiming there was no violence. They succeeded. They succeeded in squashing First Amendment rights completely, almost 100% on both sides. And then to still have it not successful in preventing any type of violence was atrocious, and that's why they didn't want to admit that with all the money spent and all the preparation spent. Yeah, I think they see that lady, that car honking at the cop. They're just walking down the middle of the street. You better go get them. Those 6 people. Oh, God. Oh, boy. But it is nice to be back in St. Louis. There has been less actions as of late. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. It's a long haul and there's a long fight ahead, so don't expect it to be like it was the first month where there was an action every day. It might be 1, 2, 3 a week, and they might be completely different from what you've seen, or smaller actions like this just to be strategic, but again, to impact, as the protesters want, to financially impact the county and the city as much as possible over what they're saying is a 400-day haul if possible. It's going to take a lot of tiny actions like this mixed in with the bigger actions. So nights like this when 20, 30 people come out, they can still get some shutdowns done. They were still able to close up some stores. They were still able to get a lot of police out here wasting resources, adding on to that financial number. All right, so I better go down. I got to get to my car before I get rounded up here. So I want to thank you guys for joining me here, West County, St. Louis, Frontenac Mall tonight. And to people asking me where I'll be tomorrow, November 4th. Well, unless there's an action like we've seen tonight in St. Louis, nowhere, because all that Civil War stuff is bullshit, people. Come on. Don't fall for it. Come on. You're already falling for it. Too bad. Well, on that note, guys, I probably won't see you tomorrow unless it's an action like this, but we'll see. Keep updated on my Twitter at revolutionary_Z or at RebZ.tv. And, of course, you can see me multicasting on YouTube, Facebook, Ustream, and Periscope simultaneously right now. And I can only do that, again, through viewer support like you. It costs me about $30 a month to get those simulcasts on all four, along with my data and expenses. All those things add up, and I can't do it without you guys. You can also become a monthly contributor now by going to RebZ.tv/donate. And you can donate $1, $3, $5 a month, and that really adds up, and it's going to help me keep going. The goal is to hire on some more writers. All these people out of work from The Gothamist and DNA Info. I have some friends that literally found out overnight that they no longer have jobs, and they've got some great seasoned writers and videographers who've been covering social movements in their home cities for years. And I really want to start working with some of them. We've got basically a clean slate to try to do it our way now. We just got to figure out how that is, and funding is always the hardest problem. But we're going to get some smart heads together. I'm going to see what I can hopefully come up with some people. But it's not going to be easy, I know that much. On that note, though, keep your eyes here on St. Louis. We got Prop P vote coming up very soon. They want to give cops a raise on the backs of poor people on a sales tax when cops can't even do their jobs here adequately. So a lot of people against it are like, listen, it's going to impact the poorest of the people in St. Louis with the sales tax increase, and it's also, as a lot of people see it, rewarding police for doing a bad job.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
What's going on up here, man?
Oh, there was a small protest.
A protest?
Yeah.
Oh, man, you better go with that shit somewhere else. Thanks, man.
And on that note, folks, I will see you very soon. Make sure you check out our Twitter and website at RebZ.tv. And I will see you guys soon. This is Revolutionary Z, out.